Yeah, man. Shout out to TishaTheBrave.
Subscribe to me.
What's up guys, it's TishaTheBrave. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the video, I know there's at least one or two of you who are here who haven't pressed that subscribe button. Subscribe to me so you could join the Bravers, which is the family name for my channel. For my subscribers, okay? So I know you're seeing the title of the video and I'm just gonna dive straight right into it. We are talking about healing today and what it means and what we can do to heal, because I feel like that term gets thrown around so often. Oh, I'm healing, or oh my gosh, you need to heal yourself, or whatever. And I don't think anybody has truly explained what that is and how people can do it. And I feel like I had to make this video for that reason. So if you've made it to this video today and you know somebody or you yourself are struggling with something and you want to heal yourself, please stay tuned or please recommend somebody to this video, because I really feel like the steps I'm going to entail today are going to be really helpful. And I'm not just saying that to toot my own horn. I really do this kind of thing to help other people. So please make sure you listen and take notes if you have to, or save this to your favorites, or share this with anybody who you feel may need it, okay? As always, when I'm making a serious topic like this, I have notes, so if I'm looking down to read my notes, please pardon me. I'm just trying to make sure that I get all my notes together. So first of all, we're going to go into like what healing is exactly. There are two types of healing. There is healing in the physical sense. When somebody is ill physically, there are ways to heal that person, whether it is via medicine, holistic therapy, etc, blah blah blah. But then there's healing in the emotional sense, where something that really triggers you can also be healed in that manner. So I think when the woke community, or when anybody who's like spiritually awakening is talking about healing, a lot of the times they're talking about the emotional healing sense. Like, we need to heal ourselves, we need to do this, we need to do that. So today I'm telling you who needs the healing and also what you can do to heal. So today I'm actually talking about emotional healing, because I think a lot of us are at that stage where we want to do that. So, and again, remember, I'm reading notes here. I don't want to miss anything out, so pardon me for looking down. So people who need emotional healing could be people who are defensive, quick-tempered, depressed, people who get sad very easily, finds fault in others and not in themselves, people who overeat, people who undereat, people who are obsessive with things, like have objects or people who they idolize. And lastly, people who do not listen to what others have to say about them. And of course, there may be people here who didn't resonate with all of that and still feel like they need the help they need. I've written down 7 steps that I believe could really help you on emotionally healing you. So like I said, I'm reading notes, so pardon me. The first step: having the optimism or the faith to want to change in the first place. So for those people who are not spiritual or not religious, I would say having the faith to believe that you can make a change is something to believe in. You need something to keep you optimistic, because part of this healing journey is to make sure that you are not triggered by the negativity all the time. Express your gratitude is so important to the journey, because otherwise you're going to keep falling into the trap that all of these things are happening and I don't know what to do about it. Second thing, listening to what other people have to say about your behavior. Many of you are in denial about how you behave. Sometimes people are so defensive that they do not want to hear it. They do not want to hear that they are defensive. They do not want to hear that they shout all the time. They do not want to hear that they're negative. They don't want to hear it. And that is a blockage, because you're not willing to understand how the other person feels. You only care about you. That's a very selfish trait. If multiple people are saying the same thing about you, you need to look within. Why am I acting this way? And actually reflect upon that. Okay? Because many of us are in denial. And this is why we can't heal. Because we're so in denial that we're not the way that people are portraying us to be. Sorry, my camera cut out and I had to recharge my battery. So let's go back into point number 3, which is gravitating towards the things that make you happy and to do them without an excuse. A lot of the times we help people so much that we forget to help ourselves. Even those who are not fully healed yet forget that they themselves need to take the time out to actually do something for themselves. And we make up excuses and we say things like, oh, if I don't do this thing, who's going to do it for me? Or if I don't help this person, who's going to help them? A lot of people who we try to help are adults. And those adults, if they're not helping themselves, then they need to look inward themselves. And also you need to understand that you can be an empath and you can help people, but not to the extent of losing your own energy and your own sanity. Number 4 on how to heal yourself: meditating, praying, or quieting your mind without distraction. For those of you who don't practice meditation or praying, I suggest that you do, because it's a good way to vent and just let things out in the atmosphere. And it's a good way to also quiet your mind. If you can quiet your mind and if you can get to a point of rest and relaxation, then that means you can master your own energy. So when your triggers come up and people are shouting at you and saying something, or you don't like something, you will now have the power to quiet your mind since you're doing it on a regular basis. Praying was something I did growing up. My dad's a pastor. I did that every day of my life, and I do it every day of my life. Meditating changed my life though. In prayer, I was venting, and that was powerful in itself. In meditation, I keep my mind quiet, and I go and I listen to frequencies of music that help me to calm down. I've got a video on how to meditate, why you should meditate, all the FAQs about meditation right up, so you guys can check that out if you're really interested. But it really does help you calm down whenever you get a trigger. Number 5, self-help books or podcasts or lectures on the help that you need. Nothing is new under the sun. People have gone through things that are very, very similar to you. If you're listening to a podcast where a person has gone through something similar to you and they tell you how they get out of it, those things could probably help you. And of course, if you don't relate, you can always find somebody else or find something that could possibly help. What I'm trying to say is that there are so many people who give out this information for free, and I think a lot of us are not tuning into that because, I don't know, maybe it's hard to talk about. Maybe you swept this shit under the carpet. Maybe that's what you're doing. Maybe you're avoiding it. But it's time to kind of look into those things, because guess what? You're an adult now. And you're not going to adult right, or you're not going to be happy if you don't tackle your problems, which is why a lot of people during this Mercury retrograde is freaking out, because they've swept their stuff under the carpet and they haven't healed themselves properly. Just be mindful of who you're listening to too. If you feel in your spirit that this person is not right in what they're saying, move on to the next person. We're now on point 6, okay? Going back to the time where you first got triggered by your current problem. I remember having this conversation with a lot of men in my life who I find who are my dear friends, and they are going through stuff, and I'm like, but what's wrong? And they'll be like, I just feel like this and that and da 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 da. And I was like, tell me the first time you felt inadequate, or you felt this exact emotion. And they will go back to that time. And what they find is going back to that time has now made this a ongoing problem in their life today as an adult. And it might not even be in childhood. It might be like, you know, maybe even 10 years ago when they're still adults, but they were young adults or something like that. Going back to that time, as scary and as sad as an emotion and as emotional that is, will help understand why you are triggered, which then makes you think about the way you respond to anything that is similar to that kind of situation. If you understand why you are triggered, the next time somebody says something to you, they're like, whoa, I don't have to respond in that way. I'm being triggered right now. It's because of what happened to me when I was younger, or what happened to me 10 years ago, or what happened to me 20 years ago. That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important. And I left that second to last, because the next thing is this. Okay? Accepting that you have this issue and not using it as an excuse. I know somebody who was severely bullied. Severely bullied. As an adult, they kept saying, you don't know what I've been through. I've been through this and I've been through that. And it's like, okay, but if somebody ate your food, why are you responding in that manner? You don't know what I've been through is the response to somebody eating your food? Like, that's just an example. That's just an example. But you're using that as an excuse to have a temper. You're using that as an excuse to not move forward. And this is so important because I think a lot of us do this thing where as soon as something happens to us, you don't know what's in my mind. You don't know what's going on with me. Is that an excuse to behave the way you do? Absolutely not. And I think a lot of us need to get to the point where we're not making excuses just because we've been through shit. Okay? I used to be that person. But now because I'm doing the continuous healing where I'm meditating every day and I'm listening to self-help podcasts and I'm making sure that my energy is not trying to match the teenage me. I'm trying to make sure that I'm thinking before I'm speaking. Am I being defensive right now? I ask these continuous questions because these things are the things that are going to continuously help me to improve. Okay? In the comment section down below, let me know if you are trying to heal or if you are continuously healing or if you want to try one of these steps that I've taught you about, okay? I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, love, all that good stuff.